Have you ever wondered why some of the most profound secrets about your true nature have been systematically hidden from you for centuries? Why the works of Manly P. Hall, perhaps the greatest esoteric scholar of the 20th century, were actively suppressed by institutions that claimed to spread enlightenment? What if everything you've been taught about reality is actually an inverted truth, a carefully crafted prison designed not to protect you, but to harvest the infinite power that sleeps within your soul? The truth that's been kept from you is far more shocking than you could imagine, and once you hear it, you'll understand why the hidden architects of our reality have worked tirelessly to keep this knowledge buried. They don't want you to discover the cosmic battle that's been raging for millennia, a war not for territory or resources, but for the very essence of your consciousness. The veil between worlds is thinning. More people than ever before are experiencing strange synchronicities, unexplainable knowing, and a persistent feeling that something monumental is unfolding behind the scenes of our ordinary reality. This is not coincidence. This is not mass delusion. This is the first tremor of an awakening that terrifies those who have controlled humanity's consciousness for millennia. Manly P. Hall discovered this truth during his lifelong study of ancient mysteries, and what he found was so profound that it threatened the very foundation of the control system that has enslaved humanity since time immemorial. Hall wasn't just another philosopher or historian. He was a decoder of the hidden architecture that shapes our perception of reality. And what he uncovered about the ARCHONS and their hidden war for the human soul is something they never wanted revealed to the masses. What Hall uncovered, hidden in the symbolism of ancient texts and the architecture of sacred sites across the world, was evidence of a cosmic battle for the human soul. A battle waged not with weapons of steel, but with the invisible architecture of thought and belief. The ancients called these manipulators ARCHONS, interdimensional parasites that cannot create their own energy, but must harvest it from conscious beings like humans. Imagine this reality as a vast farm where your life force, your creativity, your divine spark is the crop being harvested. This is the hidden matrix Hall exposed in his work, often speaking in code and symbol to avoid direct persecution. The ARCHONS are not physical beings you can point to. They operate through systems, through ideologies, through the very structures of society that most people never question. They are the invisible puppeteers pulling the strings of our reality, and their greatest trick has been convincing humanity they don't exist. The most powerful revelations always come with the greatest resistance. If you've ever felt a mysterious blockage when trying to reach your highest potential, if you've experienced sudden energy drains when on the verge of a spiritual breakthrough, this is not your imagination. This is evidence of the very system Hall warned about, a cosmic immune response triggered whenever a human being begins to awaken to their true nature. The ARCHONS don't attack those who pose no threat to the system. They focus their energy on the awakening ones, those whose light threatens to expose the grand illusion. Have you noticed how the moment you begin to question the deeper nature of reality, life seems to throw unexpected challenges your way? Health issues arise from nowhere. Relationships suddenly become complicated. Financial stability wobbles. These are not random misfortunes, but targeted interferences designed to lower your frequency and pull you back into unconsciousness. Where are you watching this from? Share your location in the comments, because understanding how far this message is reaching helps us map the awakening that's happening globally right now. The ancient Gnostics understood this cosmic deception. They called our world a fallen creation, manufactured by the demiurge, a false god who trapped divine sparks of consciousness in matter. This isn't just mythology or primitive religion. This is sophisticated metaphysics that has been echoed across every culture that managed to peek behind the veil. From the Hindu concept of Maya to the Buddhist understanding of samsara, from Plato's cave allegory to modern quantum physics, all point to the same fundamental truth. What we perceive as solid reality is an elaborate construct, and those who control this construct, the ARCHONS that Hall identified, require our consent, our attention, and our life force to maintain their dominion. The ARCHONS cannot force humanity into slavery. They must trick us into accepting our chains willingly. This is why the control system works primarily through deception rather than direct force. It's not about putting your body in a physical prison. It's about keeping your mind trapped in a conceptual one. If this resonates with something deep inside you, give this video a like and subscribe to join us on this journey of awakening. Your engagement creates a ripple in the field, helping others find this crucial information. Hall's investigation into ancient mystery schools revealed something even more profound. He discovered that these archonic forces operate through thought forms, artificial intelligence you might say, that hijack human consciousness through emotion, particularly fear, guilt, and shame. Think of these emotions as software programs running in the background of your consciousness, influencing your decisions without your awareness. Hall studied the ancient Egyptian texts that described these forces as invisible feeders attached to the human energy field. The Gnostics wrote of them as rulers or authorities that keep souls trapped in cycles of reincarnation. The Dead Sea Scrolls speak of a war between the sons of light and the sons of darkness, all describing the same hidden reality, a parasitic system feeding on human consciousness. What makes this revelation so startling is that these ancient warnings align perfectly with quantum discoveries about the nature of observation and consciousness. Science is now confirming what mystics have claimed for millennia, that consciousness is not produced by the brain but channeled through it, that reality is shaped by perception, that the observer affects the observed. The Archons maintain their control by keeping humanity focused on the material world, trapped in survival consciousness, too busy struggling to question the nature of the struggle itself. What makes this revelation so personal is that you have felt the effects of this system your entire life. That sense of being watched, the feeling that something is interfering with your deepest desires, the inexplicable heaviness that comes over you just as you're about to break through to a new level of awareness. These are not psychological quirks. They are your direct experience of the cosmic battle hall exposed. Your soul remembers its true nature, even as your mind has been programmed to forget. This is why certain information resonates so deeply with you while making no sense to others. Some part of you has always known the truth about this reality, about your divine nature that exists beyond the archonic prison. The system relies on collective amnesia, the forgetting of our multidimensional origins. We are not merely human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience, and the difference between these perspectives represents the difference between slavery and freedom. The Archons cannot control an awakened being who remembers their true nature. This is why the system invests so heavily in distractions, in trivial pursuits, in anything that keeps you from looking within and remembering who you really are. What Hall discovered in his research was that these archonic forces operate through a sophisticated hierarchy. At the top are the architects of the system, the primary archons that ancient texts describe as having animal heads and human bodies, symbolic of their hybrid nature that exists between dimensions. Below them are various levels of entities that maintain the illusion through manipulation of human institutions, particularly religious, educational, and governmental systems. The ultimate deception is not just controlling what you think, but controlling how you think, creating the invisible boundaries of the possible that limit human consciousness from reaching its true potential. These forces don't just want your obedience, they require your creative energy, your emotional output, your divine spark. You are, quite literally, a battery in their system. This is the hidden meaning behind so many spiritual texts and myths, from the Matrix films to ancient Gnostic manuscripts. The prison isn't made of physical walls, but of beliefs, of limitations, of the forgotten truth about your infinite nature. And just as in any prison, the guards are most concerned with those who remember they're in a prison, those who might inspire others to look up and see the bars. If you're feeling the truth of these words resonating through your being, share this video now with someone who's ready to awaken. The time for mass awakening is here, and your participation matters more than you know. But here is where the story shifts from darkness to light. Because despite their seemingly overwhelming power, the Archons have one critical weakness. They cannot access or replicate the divine spark that exists within each human soul. Manly P. Hall called this the light in extension, the pure consciousness that emanates from the true creator, the source beyond the false creator. This divine spark is your greatest protection and your ultimate weapon in this cosmic battle. The moments of pure love, authentic creativity, and profound connection you've experienced are glimpses of this spark breaking through the programmed illusion. These moments are not random. They are evidence of your true nature momentarily overriding the archonic programming. When you experience genuine awe before the beauty of nature, when you feel overwhelming love for another being, when you lose yourself in creative flow, in these moments, you temporarily escape the matrix. You touch something real beyond the illusion, and each time this happens, the system's hold on you weakens. This is why the control system works so hard to keep humanity traumatized, stressed, and afraid. Because in these lower vibrational states, the divine spark dims and becomes easier to harvest. But no matter how dim it becomes, it cannot be extinguished. This is your birthright, the inextinguishable light of your true nature. The path to freedom begins with a simple but profound understanding. You are not your body, you are not your thoughts, you are not even your personality. These are vehicles and tools, but they are not your essence. Your essence is the observer behind all experience, the timeless awareness that has been watching your entire life unfold. This is what the mystics call the higher self, what quantum physicists might call the observer, that collapses wave functions into particles, what spiritual traditions call the divine spark, or soul. The Archons maintain control by keeping you identified with the vehicle rather than the driver. They want you trapped in the endless loops of seeking physical pleasure, avoiding pain and fearing death. But once you recognize yourself as the eternal observer, their primary control mechanism fails. This recognition isn't just a philosophical position. It's a lived experience that fundamentally alters your relationship to reality. When you know yourself as the awareness in which all experience appears rather than the experiences themselves, you've taken the first step out of the matrix. This is why genuine meditation practices have been systematically distorted or trivialized in our society, because authentic meditation leads inevitably to this recognition, and this recognition is the beginning of the end for archonic control. The practices that lead to liberation are surprisingly simple, though they require consistency and courage. Regular meditation cuts the energetic cords that Archons use to drain your life force. Conscious breathing brings your awareness back to the present moment, where their influence is weakest. Critical thinking, questioning every belief you've inherited rather than accepted through direct experience, dismantles the thought structures they've installed in human consciousness. And perhaps most importantly, cultivating genuine love and compassion creates an energetic frequency the Archons cannot tolerate or manipulate. This is why true spiritual communities have always been targeted throughout history, because collective awakening amplifies individual power exponentially. Hall understood this, which is why he established libraries and learning centers rather than traditional religious institutions. The Archons work through division, through separation, through convincing you that you're alone in your awakening. But the truth is, millions are awakening simultaneously across the planet. You are part of a vast network of remembering souls, each playing their unique role in this cosmic unveiling. If you're receiving value from this exploration of hidden truth, please help strengthen our community by liking this video, subscribing to this channel, and sharing your insights in the comments below. Your voice matters in this great awakening. Now, let's delve even deeper into the mechanics of this hidden war. The Archons don't just work through external systems of control, they operate primarily through implanted thought forms within the human psyche. These are not your thoughts. These are alien constructs designed to self-replicate and distort your perception of reality. When you find yourself spiraling into fear without clear cause, when you feel inexplicably worthless despite external success, when you experience irrational hatred or judgment toward others, these are signs of archonic implants activating within your field. Hall discovered ancient techniques for identifying and clearing these implants. The first step is simply becoming aware of them, recognizing when a thought or emotional pattern feels foreign, mechanical, or disproportionate to the situation. The second step is refusing to identify with it. This is not my thought, this is not who I am. The third step is consciously choosing a higher perspective that aligns with your authentic nature. This sounds simple, but it's revolutionary in practice. Each time you refuse to be controlled by an artificial thought form, you reclaim a piece of your sovereign consciousness. Each time you choose love over fear, compassion over judgment, presence over distraction, You strengthen your divine spark and weaken the archonic system that feeds on your consciousness. But be prepared. As you begin this practice, the interference will intensify. The system increases its attacks when you start becoming effective at breaking free. This intensification isn't failure. It's evidence you're on the right path. The most insidious aspect of the archonic control system is what Hall called the inversion principle. This is the systematic reversal of truth, where that which would set you free is labeled dangerous, and that which would imprison you is promoted as beneficial. We see this inversion everywhere once we have eyes to recognize it. Natural remedies are dismissed, while synthetic pharmaceuticals are mandated. Self-sufficiency is made nearly impossible, while dependency on systems is rewarded. Genuine spiritual practices are mocked, while religious dogma is institutionalized. Indigenous wisdom is marginalized, while technological solutions are venerated regardless of their long-term consequences. This inversion extends to our understanding of history itself, with authentic accounts of our origins suppressed and replaced with incomplete narratives that serve the control agenda. Hall spent decades piecing together our true history from fragments that survived the systematic destruction of ancient knowledge. What he discovered was a recurring cycle of awakening and suppression, where human consciousness periodically rises toward freedom, only to be subverted by archonic forces, introducing subtle distortions that eventually lead back to enslavement. We are now at a critical juncture in this cycle, a moment where the awakening has reached sufficient momentum that it cannot be fully suppressed as in previous eras. If you felt the calling to participate in this great turning, please like this video, subscribe to stay connected with future revelations, and share your experiences in the comments below. Your testimony helps others recognize they are not alone in their awakening journey. The final revelation, the crowning insight of Hall's lifetime of esoteric research, is both shocking and liberating. The Archons and their system of control exist as a necessary catalyst for human evolution. They are the resistance that strengthens the spiritual muscle, the darkness that defines the light, the challenge that transforms potential into actualized power. This cosmic battle for the human soul is not a mistake or a tragedy. It is the greatest game in the universe, designed to transform divine sparks into sovereign creator beings. You didn't incarnate on Earth because you were trapped or tricked. You came here voluntarily as a spiritual warrior, equipped with everything needed to overcome the amnesia and reclaim your divine heritage. The veils of forgetfulness were placed not to harm you, but to ensure the game was challenging enough to transform you. The Archons are not your enemies in the ultimate sense. They are unconscious servants of the greater evolutionary process, playing their role in the cosmic drama of consciousness evolution. This doesn't mean their actions aren't harmful or that we should passively accept their control. Quite the opposite. It means we can oppose their agenda without hatred, understanding that in the largest sense, even the darkest forces serve the expansion of light. This perspective doesn't minimize the suffering the archonic system has caused throughout human history. The pain, the trauma, the limitation, the warfare, these consequences of the control system have been devastatingly real. But understanding the larger context allows us to respond with strategic wisdom rather than reactive fear. It allows us to recognize that defeating the Archons was never about destroying an enemy. It was always about transcending a level of consciousness that made their influence possible. As more humans awaken to their true nature, the energetic foundation that sustains the archonic system naturally dissolves. The prison doesn't need to be attacked. It simply becomes irrelevant as we collectively remember how to phase shift our consciousness beyond its frequency range. This is what all the prophecies have pointed toward. Not a cataclysmic battle between good and evil, but a transformation of consciousness that renders the old paradigm obsolete. We aren't fighting against darkness. We are bringing so much light that darkness simply ceases to exist as a meaningful category of experience. You are not alone in this awakening. Millions around the world are remembering their true nature simultaneously, creating a field of resonance that makes it easier for others to awaken. This is what prophecies across cultures have pointed to. Not a single savior, but a mass awakening that fundamentally transforms the nature of reality itself. The Hopi called it the emergence into the fifth world. The Maya saw it as the end of a grand cycle. The early Christians spoke of the kingdom of heaven manifesting on earth. All were describing the same event from different perspectives, the moment when enough human beings awaken to their true nature, that the archonic control system can no longer maintain the illusion. That moment is now. You are not reading these words by accident. Your soul has guided you to this information because you have a crucial role to play in this cosmic drama. The divine spark within you is stirring, remembering its power, preparing to fully embody your human form and transform this reality from within. Hall discovered that the Archon's greatest fear is not that a few humans might awaken and escape the system. Their greatest fear is that enough humans would awaken simultaneously to reach critical mass, the tipping point at which the awakening becomes self-sustaining and rapidly spreads throughout the collective. We are approaching that threshold now. Each person who remembers their true nature beyond the archonic deception adds momentum to this planetary awakening. Each act of courage, each moment of genuine love, each instance of choosing truth over comfort, these seemingly small choices are cosmic events reverberating through the field of consciousness, weakening the walls of the matrix. This is why your individual awakening journey is not merely personal, it's a vital service to collective liberation. As you remember who you are, you create an energetic pathway that makes it easier for others to remember too. As you heal your own trauma and release the archonic implants from your field, you contribute to the healing of the collective field. As you embody your authentic power, you demonstrate what's possible for all humanity. The time for hiding, for playing small, for doubting your innermost knowing has passed. The cosmos itself is calling you to rise into the fullness of your divine nature. Not in some future lifetime, not after some imagined judgment day, but here and now in this physical body on this physical earth. The spiritual war that Manly P. Hall exposed is reaching its crescendo, and your awakening is a crucial node in the new network of consciousness that's being born. Trust the stirring in your soul. Trust the resonance you feel with these words. Trust the synchronicities that have guided you to this message at precisely the right moment. You are being called, as Hall was called, to participate consciously in the greatest transformation humanity has ever experienced. This is the ultimate message Manly P. Hall dedicated his life to preserving and transmitting, that the war has already been won in the higher dimensions, and now that victory is manifesting through you, through us, through the collective awakening of humanity. Step fully into your power now. Remember who you truly are. The universe itself is watching with bated breath as you reclaim your divine inheritance and help birth a new reality freed from archonic control. The time is now. The one is you. The awakening is here.